You know, in our digital world, your data is basically currency. But who's actually in charge of the vault? That's what we're here to do today. We're going to break down the whole complex world of data regulations and, more importantly, what it all means for you.
Seriously, have you ever stopped to think about that? I mean, every single time you bank online, buy something, or even just browse the web, you're handing over little pieces of your digital self. So the big question is, who's making sure all that info stays safe? Well, that's exactly what we're going to get into.
Okay, so the easiest way to wrap your head around data compliance? Just think about taxes, right? Businesses can't just pretend tax laws don't exist, and it's the exact same idea with data laws. They have to follow them. It's basically the official rulebook for how to handle our information the right way.
All right, so let's dig a little deeper. What's the point of this rulebook anyway? What are the actual goals here?
You know, it's really easy to assume it's all just about companies trying to avoid big fines. But honestly, that's just one small piece of the puzzle. The real goals are much bigger, protecting our privacy and making sure data is used ethically. And that last point you see, building trust, man, that is everything. Because in today's digital world, trust is probably the most valuable thing a company can have.
Okay, so that's the big picture. But what does this actually look like in practice? Let's zoom in a bit and take a look at the specific data laws in Pakistan.
And this is super important to remember. There's no single global law that covers everyone. Every country has its own set of rules. So right now, we're basically cracking open Pakistan's specific rulebook to see exactly how it protects people's information inside its own digital borders.
So this gives us a fantastic snapshot of what's going on. You can see there are different rules for different sectors. Take the SBP framework. That one is laser-focused on banks and financial institutions. Then you've got something like PECA, which is the big one for cybercrime, making things like hacking illegal. It's not just one law, it's a whole framework where all these pieces are designed to work together.
All right, so theory is one thing, but how does all this stuff actually play out in the real world? Let's take a look at a super practical example. We'll call it a bank's compliance playbook.
Just think about your bank for a second. It's got your account numbers, every transaction you've ever made, all your personal details. I mean, it is a literal treasure trove of your most sensitive information. So what plays are they actually running from that playbook to keep all of it safe and sound?
Okay, so first off, they lock it all down with some seriously powerful encryption. We're talking AES 256, which is basically a military-grade standard. So yeah, think of it like a top-of-the-line digital vault. Next up, they use something called role-based access control. Now that's just a fancy way of saying that employees can only get to the exact data they need to do their job, and nothing more. Nobody gets a master key to everything. And this is so critical for stopping threats from the outside and the inside. But look, it's not all about the tech. It's also about training their people and constantly running drills so they're ready if the worst happens.
But what happens if they get it wrong? That's the million-dollar question, right? What are the real stakes if a company messes up and doesn't follow these rules?
Well, let's just say the consequences are huge. We are talking way, way beyond a simple slap on the wrist.
Sure, you've got the big legal penalties and massive fines, but the damage to a company's reputation, that can be permanent. And honestly, the biggest cost of all is losing customer trust. Because once that's gone, it is incredibly hard, sometimes even impossible, to ever get it back.
Okay, so let's pull all these threads together. Let's recap and talk about why this all matters so much.
So here's the quick and dirty recap. Compliance is just following the rules for handling data. In Pakistan, the key laws you need to know are SPP, SCP, PICA, and a couple others. We looked at a bank as a case study, seeing how they use SBP rules to protect your info. And the whole point of all of this? It's to make sure our data is handled ethically, securely, and legally. Simple as that.
All right, and just to help make these acronyms stick in your brain, let's do a quick fire round. Ready? SBP. Think banking governance.
Next, SCCP. That's your guidelines for corporate cybersecurity.
PACA. Easy one. That's the cybercrime law.
NCSP. That's the National Cybersecurity Policy. And last but not least, ETO 2002. Think of that as the law that makes digital transactions legal.
So here we are, right back where we started, but hopefully with a totally new perspective. Because knowing how this system is supposed to work gives you the power to ask the right questions. Your data is one of your most valuable assets, period. So the final thought I want to leave you with is this. Who do you trust to protect it? And are they really living up to that responsibility?